Super Eagles made a statement in Marrakesh, crushing Algeria 2-0 and storming into the semi-finals. From Victor Osimhen's perfect response to midfield domination and a defense that is finally AFCON-ready. Let's discuss it and break down the 5 things we learned from Nigerian revenge against Algeria. But before you dive into this video, if you are new here, welcome to the channel. Or if you have been following me for a while, you know the drills. Help your boy get to that 10k subscriber mark. Let's dive into it. This was an absolute statement win for Super Eagles. A perfect piece of revenge. Taking down a heavyweight like Morocco 2-0 isn't just about the scoreline. It's about the tactical shifts, the psychological dominance we imposed for 90 minutes. This wasn't survival football. This was control. So sit down, let's break down 5 things we learned from Nigerian 2-0 win over Algeria. Starting with number 1, the best form of attack is defense. Algeria came into this game with a reputation, the so-called Fort Knox. Fewest goals considered in a tournament. Structured, discipline had to break down. On paper, it was supposed to be the ultimate defensive test. Nigeria tore that paper to shreds. Because we didn't respect the reputation, we challenged it, and that's the key difference. Instead of sitting deep and absorbing pressure, the lazy approach most teams take against North American side, the Super Eagles flipped the script. We defended by attacking, high up the pitch, relentless, aggressive with intent, and it showed. Nigeria are AFCON top goal scorers, and this performance underlined why. We didn't just break Algeria's defense, we rewrote history. The Super Eagles beat their previous record of 12 goals when they were runner-up in 2000. That's not a throwaway stat, that's legacy territory. The press was the foundation of everything. Algeria never settled. Their build-up was consistently disrupted at source. Every first touch felt rush. This wasn't chaos, it was organized aggression. Ademola Lookman was central to this structure, not just as a third, but as a winger. He finished with a 7.0 rating, 1 big chance created, 2 key passes, 3 accurate crosses, 2 shots, 1 on target. Algeria spent more time clearing danger than creating it. Nigeria dominated the territory, 57% ball possession, 5 big chance created, 13 total shots. That's not counter-punching football, that's control. And zoom out, the bigger picture even gets scarier. Nigeria at AFCON 2025, the only team to win all their games, 5 out of 5, and best goal difference, +10. Sorry, that word fits perfectly. This wasn't about winning 2-0. We dictated where the game was played. Algeria threats were neutralized before they could even breathe. Kept 60 yards away from our goal for the most of the night. No desperation block, no back to wall nonsense, just dominance. If this is the standard we are setting, then the rest of the tournament isn't just watching Nigeria win. They are watching a team that knows exactly who they are. Which brings me to the second thing we learned: midfield authority. Every big game has a battleground. Against Algeria, the battle for the soul of the game was going to be decided in the midfield. And Nigeria didn't just win it, we owned it. The 3 wise men of Wilfred Ndidi, Frank Oyeka, Alex Iwobi operated like a perfectly engineered machine, each bringing a specific superpower, different role, one mission: suffocate Algeria's rhythm. Let's break it down. Wilfred Ndidi sat as the anchor. This was classic Ndidi. No glamour, no noise, just control. He sat in front of the defense like a bouncer who doesn't need to raise his voice. Transitions died at his feet. He finished with a 6.8 rating, 85% pass accuracy, 5 defensive contribution, 1 tackle, 1 interception, 2 clearance, 4 recoveries, 3 ground duel won, 2 area duel won. Second balls, Nigerian loose ball, all cleaned up. Algeria never fluked because Ndidi never allowed it. Then there is Frank Oyeka, the tank. This man ran Algeria into submission, box to box, touchline to touchline. Oyeka hunted everything in green and white. Any playmaker who thought they had time on the ball was quickly reminded otherwise. He dropped a 7.0 rating, 83% pass accuracy, 1 shot, 5 defensive contribution, 2 tackles, 1 interception, 4 recoveries, 8 ground duel won. That's not just energy, that's control chaos. Oyeka didn't chase shadows, he chased solution, and Algeria had none. And then Alex Iwobi, the architect, the connector, the brain. With Ndidi and Oyeka harassing, Iwobi was related to do what he does best: dictate and unlock defense. This wasn't a passenger performance, this was leadership through intelligence. And I'll say it again, clearly without hesitation, Iwobi is Nigeria's most important player. He finished with a 7.3 rating, 1 big chance created, 2 key passes, 1 accurate cross, 80% pass accuracy, 83 touches. That's involvement, that's influence. Alex, Iwobi is pulling the strings for Nigeria. The Super Eagles midfield has completed 46 defense splitting passes at AFCON, more than double of any of his teammates. That's not a coincidence. That's design. The midfield didn't just compete, they colonized the center of the pitch. Algeria's supposedly world-class engine room was reduced to sideways passes and hopeful clearance. No reading, no authority, no answer. When you control midfield like this, the game bends to your will, and Nigeria bent it completely. But moving on to the third thing we learned, the Osai Samuel special. Before the kickoff, this was the anxiety point. The Franks against Algeria with their wide threat and transition game, that's usually where things get messy. Instead, Nigeria turned into a showcase. Bright Osai Samuel delivered what can be described as a coming of age performance. Not just solid, not just improved, elite. An 8.2 rating tells part of that story, but the details are even louder. 3 defensive contributions, 2 clearance, 1 shot blocked, 6 recoveries, 7 ground duel won, 0 time dribble passed, 1 accurate cross, 90% pass accuracy, 56 touches, 2 successful dribbles, fouled 5 times. That last one matters a lot. Osai Samuel wasn't just defending, he was provoking, driving forward, forcing contact, winning fouls, dishing out yellow card for fun. Algeria couldn't stop him legally, and they couldn't ignore him either. Often criticized for his defensive positioning, this was the most complete version of Osai Samuel we have seen in a Nigerian shirt. His recovery pace killed counters before they even formed, while his forward runs pinned Algeria's centre-back so deep, he basically became a third centre-back. And just when you thought one flank was dominating enough, Nigeria doubled it. On the opposite side, Bruno Emechi had the inevitable task of dealing with Riyad Mahrez. He didn't just smack him, he erased him. Another 8.2 rating, and this one came with an end product. 1 assist, 4 defensive contribution, 1 tackle, 2 clearance, 4 recoveries, 3 ground duel won, 1 area duel won, 1 big chance created, 5 key passes, 5 accurate crosses, 1 shot, 1 on target. That's a fullback doing everything. By staying tight, refusing to bite on Mahrez's trademark fence, and never overcommitting, Oyemechi stripped one of Africa's most gifted wingers, his greatest weapon: unpredictability. Mahrez was forced wide, backwards, and eventually out of the game. And here is a bigger takeaway. This wasn't just a one-off. This looked structured. For the first time in a long time, Nigeria didn't just survive wide area, we controlled them. That's how serious team wins tournaments. Fullback depth, defensive discipline, attacking threat, all balls sticked. Which brings me to the fourth thing we learned: Osimhen's perfect response. Coming into this game, Victor Osimhen wasn't just facing Algeria, he was facing a microscope. The recent friction with Ademola Lookman and the noise that followed meant every touch, every reaction, every miss was going to be analyzed. This is the kind of moment that exposes players. Great ones respond, and Osimhen's response was emphatic. An 8.2 rating and a performance that silenced the conversation in the only language that matters: impact. 1 goal, 1 assist, 3 shots, 2 on target, 2 successful dribbles, 2 big chance created, 2 key passes. That's not a striker hiding, that's a striker owning the moment. By assisting one and scoring the other, Osimhen didn't just contribute, he connected the team. Any talk of broken chemistry died on the pitch. His link-up play was sharp, decisive, and selfless. But the most important work he did never showed up in the box score. His movement was devastating, constantly dragging centre-backs out of position, forcing Algeria defensive line to step, hesitate, and panic. Every run created space, every press triggered chaos. Nigeria didn't just exploit the gap, Osimhen manufactured them. And then there was the leadership. His celebration for the opening goal said everything. No posturing, no theatrics, straight to his teammates, arm around them, message delivered. This wasn't about ego, this was about the badge. Osimhen didn't play angry, he played driven, and that distinction matters. His fire was channeled correctly. It's Nigeria's greatest weapon. It lifts the tempo, sets the tone, and forces everyone around him to raise to his level. This was a reminder to everyone watching. You don't question elite striker after the noise, you watch how they respond. And Osimhen responded perfectly. Which brings me to the last and most important thing we learned: a defense that is finally AFCON ready. Maybe the most interesting development tonight wasn't even a goal, it was the transformation of Nigeria's defense. Let's be honest, earlier in the tournament, this backline looked shaky. Conceding 4 goals in 3 matches raised a legitimate question, not panic but concern. But fast forward to now, back-to-back clean sheets against elite opposition. That's not coincidence, that's evaluation. At the heart of the defense, we are Kevin Bassey and Semi Ajayi, a partner that looked calm, aggressive, and most importantly, in sync. Kevin Bassey delivered a quietly dominant performance, a 7.1 rating, 3 defensive contribution, 1 interception, 1 clearance, 6 recoveries, 4 ground duel won, 0 time dribbled past. No drama, no chaos, just control. Alongside him, Semi Ajayi was immense. The enforcer, the organizer, the emergency brake. He dropped a 7.6 rating, 7 defensive contribution, 1 tackle, 5 clearance, 2 recoveries, 2 ground duel won, 2 area duel won, 1 last man tackle, 0 time dribbled past. The last man tackle alone was tournament level defending, the kind that breaks momentum and confidence. And here is where it gets outrageous. Nigeria didn't just limit Algeria, we erased them. According to Opta, Algeria didn't attempt a single shot in the first half of a CAF African Cup of Nations match for the first time in 30 games since Opta began analyzing the competition in 2010. This is ridiculous at this level. Algeria, a team stacked with attacking pedigree, couldn't even test the keeper, and it got worse for them. Algeria's first shot against Nigeria came in the 80th minute, a long distance by Benoit Bondojo. 80 minutes, that's not just defending, that's strangulation. This wasn't about one heroic centre-back performance or last-ditch tackle. This was about structure. The distance were right, the communication was clear, the panic clearance that haunted earlier game, gone. The partnership between the centre-back and the goalkeeper looked settled, calm under pressure and confident in possession. And that's the final piece of the puzzle. Nigeria is no longer just a team that can hurt you going forward. They are now a team that is miserable to play against. At AFCON, that combination wins trophy. The Super Eagles aren't just contenders anymore. They are not just a threat. They are setting the pace for the entire tournament. And with that said, that's the end of the video, my friends. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Go be.